between them. I am. For weeks, Alina had toiled in the Empire's archives and her laboratory, blending botanical expertise with the esoteric knowledge imparted by Ellis. The flower's power was unlike anything she had encountered, a living repository of memories that defied simple explanation. It was as if the petals themselves breathed with stories, each fold a fragment of history suspended in time. The concoction they prepared was delicate. Crushed petals of the mystical flower mixed with ancient herbal extracts, bound by whispered incantations that Ellis murmured with reverence. As Alina stirred the mixture, it began to glow softly, emitting a gentle light that pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. "This is it," Ellis said, her voice steady despite the wonder in her eyes. "A vessel not just for memory, but for life itself." Alina carefully poured the mixture over the soil at the center of the clearing. The earth drank eagerly, and within moments, a sprout emerged, delicate and trembling. The leaves unfurled slowly, shimmering with an inner light that seemed to pulse with each breath of the jungle. "Look," Alina whispered, stepping closer as the flower began to bloom, petals opening like soft flames of light. Within them flickered scenes, visions of ancient ceremonies, whispered prayers, and the faces of those long gone. The memories were tangible now, woven into the living fabric of the plant. Morrow appeared at the edge of the clearing, his stocky frame silhouetted against the rising sun. His sun-tanned skin was streaked with sweat, and his eyes bore the weight of countless battles fought in the shadows of memory markets. Yet today, there was a softness in his gaze, a fragile hope. "Alina," he said, stepping forward cautiously, "this power, it could change everything, but it could also bring new dangers." She met his gaze, steady and resolute. "I know, but this is a chance to heal, not to harm. To preserve history without destroying those who live it." He nodded slowly, placing a heavy hand on her shoulder. "Then I stand with you." Together, they watched as the first flower of living memory pulsed gently, each petal a testament to a story reclaimed from the shadows. Ellis began to chant softly, her voice weaving through the jungle like a lullaby, binding the magic of the flower with the spirit of the Empire. Days turned into weeks as Alina and her companions nurtured a garden of these luminous blooms. Each flower held a different memory, a festival long forgotten, the laughter of children from a distant village, the solemn oath of a chieftain. Visitors came cautiously at first, eyes wide with disbelief and awe. The memory vessels did more than preserve, they invited reflection. People lingered in the garden, touched petals, and felt the echo of lives once erased by fear and forgetting. The Empire's collective amnesia began to unravel, replaced by a tapestry of remembrance woven in light and life. But progress was never without resistance. Factions within the Empire viewed the living memories as threats to their power tools that could undermine control and rewrite history on their terms. Whispers of sabotage and espionage rippled through the jungle like a gathering storm. One evening, as the sky blushed with twilight, Alina wandered alone among the glowing petals. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and earth, the flowers whispering softly in a language older than words. She reached out to touch a bloom that shimmered with the image of a young Velen, his face a mixture of hope and shadowed regret. "What do you see?" Elisa's voice startled her from behind. Alina smiled faintly. Not just a tyrant, a man who dreamed of unity, who faltered beneath his own ambition. Ellis nodded. "Understanding is the first step toward redemption." Morrow joined them, his gaze sweeping over the garden. "The Empire will need time, but this could be the seed of a new era." As night deepened, the garden pulsed with a gentle light, a beacon in the dark jungle. Alina felt a quiet strength settle within her, promise that memory, like the petals, could open to reveal not just pain, but the possibility of healing. The journey ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger and doubt. Yet beneath the canopy of stars, surrounded by blooms that sang with the voices of the past, Alina knew that the petals of light would guide them toward a future where history was not a chain but a bridge. And as the first night flowers opened, their luminescent petals casting soft shadows on the earth, Alina whispered a vow to the jungle and its people to guard these memories, to honor their stories, and to nurture the fragile bloom of hope that promised renewal. The empire was awakening, one petal at a time. Soft petals brushed against her skin, each one a whisper of the countless lives woven into the jungle empire's history. At the heart of this luminous expanse stood the flower, the last bloom, its petals unfurling slowly, revealing the radiant core within. But it was not just any flower. It was the prison and the vessel of King Valon's soul, the forgotten tyrant whose shadow had haunted her every step. As Alina approached, the air thickened with a charged silence, and the spectral figure of Velen emerged from the swirling petals and shadows. His form was regal yet fractured, a mosaic of light and darkness, eyes piercing yet haunted. "You have come far, Alina Tar," his voice echoed, simultaneously commanding and fragile. "Do you seek to end me or to understand?" Alina's heart pounded, the weight of their shared history pressing upon her. She remembered the cruelty, the fear, the violence that had once gripped the empire under his reign. Yet beneath that terror, she sensed something else, a yearning, a regret buried deep within the tyrant's fractured soul. "I seek neither destruction nor domination," she said steadily, her voice carrying the strength born of countless trials. "I seek peace for you, for me, and for the empire." Velen's form flickered, petals trembling as if stirred by a gentle breeze. Peace. After all that has been done. Before Alina could answer, figures materialized beside her Ellis, pale and ethereal, her silver-vined hair shimmering with soft light, and Morrow, steadfast and grounded, his carved talisman glowing faintly. Their presence steadied Alina's resolve, a reminder that she was not alone in this final reckoning. Drawing on the lessons learned through months of journeying the dreamscape, Alina reached out to the flower. She summoned the floral magic Ellis had taught her, weaving strands of luminescent light and vibrant life energy around the petals. The flower responded, pulsing warmly, a heartbeat syncing with her own. "You carry the weight of history," Alina whispered, "but history need not be a chain. It can be a root from which new life grows." Velen's eyes softened, the shadows around him dissolving into bursts of iridescent colors. The flowers' petals glowed brighter, unfolding fully to bathe the dreamscape in radiant light. The tyrant's spirit seemed to exhale a long-held breath, the burdens of centuries lifting as he dissolved into a cascade of shimmering blossoms. In that moment, Alina felt a profound release, not just of Velen's soul, but of the Empire's collective pain. The cycle of forgetting and suffering began to shift, replaced by a fragile hope that memory could be both a lesson and a gift. As the last bloom settled into tranquility, Alina turned to Ellis and Morrow, their faces alight with shared understanding. The journey was far from over, but the path forward was now illuminated by forgiveness and renewal. Together, they stepped back toward the waking world, carrying the transformed flower, the symbol of an empire ready to heal. But as the dreamscape's light faded behind her, Alina knew one truth remained. Memory was not just about what was lost or forgotten, but about what was chosen to be remembered and how that choice could shape the future. And with that thought, a new chapter began. Around her, flowers bloomed with an otherworldly glow, petals infused with the delicate shimmer of memories. No longer burdens to be feared, but gifts to be cherished. The air was rich with the scent of wet earth and fresh rain, mingled with the soft fragrance of the blooming petals that whispered stories long silenced. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying with it the faint murmur of voices, echoes of past joys, regrets, and hopes that wove through the rustling leaves like a living melody. Alina's green eyes, reflecting the jungle's depth, rested on the flower at the center of the garden, the very flower that once held the soul of the forgotten tyrant king, Velen. Now, it stood as a symbol transformed, its petals no longer shackled by cruelty or domination, but open in a gesture of reconciliation and renewal. The journey to this moment had been long and fraught, shaped by dreams that blurred past and present, by betrayals that tested her resolve, and by friendships that anchored her through storms of doubt. Morrow approached, his steady presence a comforting contrast to the swirling thoughts within her mind. His sun-tanned skin glistened faintly in the fading light, and the carved wooden talisman hung from his neck seemed to pulse with quiet strength. The market today was different, he said, his voice low but warm. People trade with less greed, more respect. Your work is changing things. Alina, she nodded, a small smile touching her lips. It's only the beginning, but the balance is delicate. Memories can heal or harm, and we must tread carefully. Together, they walked toward the memory marketer, bustling place that once thrummed with the sharp edge of desire and fear, now softened by a cautious optimism. Traders exchanged memories with reverence, their eyes meeting across stands with a newfound understanding. The price was no longer measured solely in power or profit, but in shared stories and lessons that bound the community tighter. Alina observed quietly, feeling the pulse of change, the slow but steady shift toward a society that embraced its history instead of denying it. That night, under the shimmering stars and the watchful gaze of the jungle, Alina met with Ellis in the dreamscaper realm where memories took form and danced in light and shadow. The dreamscape was awash with glowing petals, each a window into a fragment of the Empire's collective soul. Ellis's pale figure moved gracefully among them, her silver, vine-like hair trailing like moonlight woven into silk. "Look," Ellis whispered, guiding Alina's gaze to the tapestry of memories unfurling before them. It was a living mural, joy intertwined with sorrow, cruelty balanced by compassion, each thread breathing with life and history. This is the power we hold, the ability to face the past, to understand it, and to grow beyond it. Alina reached out, her fingers brushing a petal that shimmered with a child's laughter and a mother's gentle touch. "It's beautiful, fragile, but alive, and it must be protected," Ellis replied, eyes shining with quiet fervor. "Not just by you, but by everyone who calls this empire home." As dawn approached, the community gathered in the garden where the flower stood at the altar, surrounded by entwined jungle vines and softly glowing lanterns. Faces of all ages and backgrounds reflected a shared commitment to remembrance and healing. Alina stepped forward, her heart steady despite the weight of expectation. She spoke softly but with unwavering conviction. "This flower, once a vessel of tyranny and pain, now blooms with the light of our collective memory. It reminds us that our past, with all its shadows and light, shapes who we are, but it does not define who we must become. We are the guardians of our history, the keepers of memory and life. Together, we will honor what was and nurture what can be." A hush fell, the jungle itself seeming to breathe in her words. Then, slowly, hands reached out to touch the petals, to feel the pulse of history woven into living matter. The flower's gentle glow spread, illuminating faces lifted in hope and determination. In that moment, Alina felt her transformation complete, not just as a botanist or a dreamwalker, but as a mediator between past and present, a protector of memory. The Empire, too, was awakening, ready to embrace a future where remembering and forgetting danced in harmony, where scars became stories of survival, and where the bloom of hope pushed through the darkest soil. Yet, even as the night gave way to day, Alina knew her journey was far from over. The balance she sought was fragile, and the forces that coveted the power of memory still lingered in shadows. But armed with knowledge, empathy, and the resilient spirit of the jungle, she was ready to face whatever came, a guardian of the petals that held the soul of a people. As the first rays of sunlight pierced the canopy, the flower unfurled one last time, releasing a soft, warm light that spread through the garden like a promise that the past would live, not as a chain, but as a seed for a new beginning. And so, beneath the watchful eyes of the ancient trees, the jungle empire stepped into a dawn where memory and life blossomed together, forever intertwined.